very large comparing to the housefly. There are various types of blowflies found on the corpse, out of which blue bottle flies and green bottle flies are the most common. They belong to the family Calliphoridae. And coming to the blowfly life cycle, has 6 parts, egg of 3 larval stages, the pupa and the adult. Like this, we see the different stages on procuring them in the different stages will give us an idea that how many days that body is lying in that place, and if the adults are available and also the egg larval stages are there, then that shows already it has been long time that even the adults are there and the eggs have been deposited by them. So like this, that study of blowfly life cycle, they will take into consideration for the study of forensic entomology. So we see the 6 parts as a life cycle, like 23 hours of eggs becoming into that particular maggot stage. And then these 3 maggot stages after completion, they will develop into pupa. And again, that pupa enclosure ruptures and again the adult will evolve. So 3 stages of larval maggots we see, and the pupa and the adult. So ours also, it has been written clearly, and 70 degrees of each stage in a blowfly's life takes a known amount of time to complete. Then when they have given the schedule for entomology practical. Hello? Hello, Sana?
Yes, ma'am.
When they have given the entomology practical schedule?
Ma'am, we don't know, but toxicology and immunology is going on, ma'am.
Okay. They didn't say about the entomology?
No, ma'am, they didn't say. After these 2,
okay.
They will say.
Okay. Okay. So flesh fly, when we take into consideration, they belong to the family Sarcophagidae. This family's Latin name means flesh eating. So usually these flies will be there when a small piece of meat also left over in any place. These flies, we will see them. And also the beetles also we will find on the dead bodies, belong to the family Coleoptera. There are various types of beetles, carrion beetles, sylphidae, and row beetles of Staphylinidae, and they can be predaceous, scavengers, and few being the parasitic. And when we see the cycle of beetles, they complete the life cycle of egg and grub stages, pupa, and adult stages. And when we take the stages of decomposition, like we will take into consideration like how the stage of that particular body decomposed. One is in a fresh, immediate, no odor, 1 to 3 days only, that dead body has been lying. Then we will see the eggs. If it is of bloating, swelling, bloating, leaking fluids, odor is there, then we will say that it has been 2 to 7 days maybe. And we see some of the larval stages on the body. If it is decay in condition, strong odor, putrefaction, then we can estimate that of 1 to 3 weeks, and all stages of insects are available on that body. And dry means dry skin and bones are available, means maybe it has been happened 1 to 3 months before, and no pupae, no beetles we will find on the body also. So these are the stages of decomposition, uh, how we get the clue for the entomology team. So in the entomological succession, we say that in ecology, succession is defined as a temporal sequence of colonization and species replacement or addition that occurs after the site is disturbed. So insects arrive at the copse in predictable sequence depending on the stages of decomposition. This is called insect succession. Means we have to know which insect will come after how many days of lying dead body. So each cycle will be completed, that particular insect life cycle is completed, then other one will visit and it will have that completion of that life cycle. So depending on these life cycle studies, we will come to know how the succession is being important for them to study the forensic way. The succession of insects generally follows a similar pattern at the family level, but there are variations at the genus and species levels also with respect to differing geographical locations. So forensic entomology works because succession is a very predictable and a consistent event. So when we talk about this particular succession, we know of postmortem interval, we'll call it as a PMI. PMI is the main role for the conclusion of the successive colonization and on the copse, the arthropoda fauna and developmental stages of dead and flesh-eating insects. And so this postmortem interval, PMI, we'll call it as. The age of oldest insects on the body determines the minimum postmortem interval. Okay, it has been noted in the slide. The age of the old insects on the body determines the minimum of the postmortem interval, PMI.
Okay.
And we also see the maggot undergoing the pre-pupae, pupae, and imago stages, then coming to the pupa stage of shell formation. And this variable depends on the temperature, time of day, the death occurred, time in a year of death occurred. So these the general rule of insects lay eggs on the copse. So we will be the person will be estimating on the basis of this only. And the copse relocation is the main way of to estimate the how and how it has happened and when it has happened. So what they will do, rural roadsides when they find them, or in town and remote rural areas under normal conditions, body, how they have any wounds or injuries or any how the murder has been occurred or it has been committed. So these are all also plays an important role. When there are a lot of wounds occurred on the body, then there will be an more chance to the laying of this particular insect visit will be more. And for detecting the physical abuse, they will maybe considering this type of things like analysis of evidence to the particular area, pinpointing the location of wasps and bees, any injecting the venom or allergic sensitive to that person, or like that. Many areas are there which gives the some of the clues to that particular body lying in that remote areas. So even they will take the substances like blood, tissue, saliva, and other things also into consideration for estimating the death. So many variables can influence the development of insects. Like sometimes if the temperature is more also, sometimes the insects may cannot survive. And the depending on the stage of larval development and other things, they will have to estimate the things. So like sometimes they have to even analyze the things on the basis of the materials which they have traced out all around the body, like cocaine or any narcotics or any of the drugs related substances. So sometimes what happens, forensic entomology even needs the study of wildlife investigation. Like sometimes they will go to kill the wildlife and they themselves are prone to that particular attacks. So that area also they have to have the clues to how this poacher's death has been occurred with antlers or some type of attack with the animals. So these are the different conditions they have to study, not only the entomology, the substances all around the body, drugs, narcotics, cocaine, heroin, all that also they have to first go through that illegal killing of animals. When they go also, these poachers, they will be prone to death, and detecting the physical abuse, finding the cause of the death, and the corpse location, estimating the PMI. All these are comes into consideration of this particular thing. So for process after the death, body also undergoes the several changes, like it undergoes the liver mortis, that is becoming the bluish purple in color. Sometimes the stiffened body, which is called as an rigor mortis, which is an best example we see whenever the body is kept for a long time after the death. So all these also conditions which leads to the muscles, aerobic and anaerobic conditions in the muscles due to the chemical reactions. So these are also the one of the clues what we will estimate. And sometimes what happens, high metabolic activity is there just before the death, and leading to the higher levels of lactic acid in the muscles, and that leads to the rigor mortis. And rigor mortis is never they'll helpful for the estimating the death, but on the whole, if it is an 1 to 3 days body, it may be useful for the estimation. Sometimes autolysis occurs. Like autolysis means breakdown of the tissues by the body's own internal chemicals and enzymes. So body starts decomposing, and this also gives the clue for the estimating the death. And there are a lot of stages in decomposition. Like first one, we will take it as an initial decay, like whenever it is an fresh and all the activities of bacteria, protozoa, nematodes present in the body are in active condition. Next, putrefaction, where this bacteria acts on the tissues and the bloating stages occurs in the body. And black putrefaction, like body collapses and gases or the odor comes out of the body. And butyric fermentation, where the odor develops and moldy from the fermentation. Otherwise, if it is of longer time, then it becomes to the dry and decay. And it's still more, the body is been long years before, then it is called as a mummification. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
So these are the different uh, ways of stages: initial decay, putrefaction, black putrefaction, butyric fermentation, dry decay, mummification. Mummies, you know, no? They'll keep as in long years with some chemicals. So that is called as an mummification. Sometimes these bodies also
In each
may be
following
available when they dig deep into the earth. Yes, ma? Any doubt?
mummification is in Egypt, na ma'am?
Now, that is our mummification of storing is different. If naturally occurring also, how they will occur means that mummification occurs due to dehydration or desiccation of tissues. Sometimes according to the soil or conditions, they may be left deep in the soil, or when they dug, they found these bodies as it is, like they have been stored. So that stage is called as a mummification.
After
Okay,
years,
mummies means they will
after
keep some chemicals and they will store. That is a mummy. But as it is, when the soil is good and it is helping out the body to sustain the tissues and all that inside the earth also, so that is called as a mummification. Tell me. Okay. Keeping artificially is also there. Sometimes naturally also it is occurring. So that stage we are calling it as a mummification. If at all, sometimes after a long time also, we get the body like that. Okay, like a mummy. Understood? So factors affecting the body decomposition are temperature, access by insects, burial, depth of the burial, carnivores, rodents access, trauma of wounds and crushing blows, humidity, dryness, rainfall, body size and weight, clothing, the surface of the body rests where it is lying. These are all the conditions which are affecting the body decomposition. So depending on these conditions, that may be varying. So like this, they will have a evidence collection with this particular type of equipments. They'll collect all the things in different bottles, different accessories are used to dig out and all that to estimate the time of death. So there are parameters for estimation of time of death, like it has been warm, body not stiff. If it is warm and stiff, if it is cold and stiff, if it is cold and not stiff. So these are the conditions which will help of, if it is not stiff, it is of 3 hours only. If it is stiff, it may be of 3 to 36 hours. If it is cold and not stiff, it is more than 36 hours. Like that, the initial decay of these dead bodies will give the clues to the forensic people. And so age and stage of an insect is the one where we come across the eggs are involved, means it is of first 8 hours of death we will consider into consideration. If the larvae are available, then they will approximately, they will say that 1 to 8 days. If pre-pupae are also available on the body, they'll say that 8 to 12 days. If pupa are available, it may go up to 24 days. Like that, they will be calculating the time of the death according to the age and stage of an insect. So that is a one particular topic where you have to write age and stage of an insect, with which we will be estimating the time of death. And according to the this availability of immature eggs and the mature eggs, they even draw the graph of how many first instar larvae are there, how many second instar larvae are there. So according to that, they'll take the graph and estimate the depth of the body. And even sometimes when we said that it is an faunal succession, which was expecting us to climatologically and temperature-wise also, ambient air temperature, maggot mass temperature, ground surface temperature, temperature between the body and surface, temperature of soil underneath the body, whether the data from 1 to 2 weeks period, including rainfall and maximum and minimum temperatures, all these they will take into consideration. So this part we'll call it as an climatologically and temperature data is a must to estimate and study the this particular entomological forensic entomology. So they even collect the samples after removal of the body also underneath the body. So collect preserved and living samples, collect the soil samples, collect the 2 to 3 inches of topsoil, collect the soil sample from the under, adjacent to and up to 3 feet from the body. All samples placed in a cardboard container for the shipment. So factors affecting the rate of development of insects we'll consider, like temperature, heat. Temperature is the one which can depend on the geographical location, indoor or outdoor exposure, sun or shade, time of the day and season. So heat generated by the maggot mass, food source, tissue type, liver, heart, lungs, various toxins, burial or the other obstructions like plastic sheets, water, the hinder axis and egg laying by the adult insects. So these factors affecting the rate of development of insects, mainly we will take into consideration. So when we, after taking into this consideration of the factors, we'll come into conclusion, like it is a fresh stage body, bloated stage, active decay stage, advanced decay stage, body desiccated, no odor, decomposition stage. So these are the different stages what they conclude after taking into these are all considerations. So so we can even study the study of all the flies which we will be seeing all around the coffins when they buried, like the different orders of the flies available in this particular study are Phoridae, belong to the Phoridae coffin flies, Hysteridae, hister beetles, Staphylidae, rogue beetles, carrion beetles belongs to the Sylphidae, and hide beetles, Dermistidae, carcass beetles, Trogidae, and darking beetles, wasps, ants, bees, mites, clothes moths. All these we can be should know to identify the which insect has been lying on the body. So this all the studies of these flies, we have to have an idea. Like many dipteran flies have been recorded in the vicinity. So we will study about the blowflies, flesh flies, skipper flies, dung flies, scavenger flies, soldier flies, mushroom flies, sand flies. All these we have to take it into consideration of how to identify them, and we have to identify sometimes. So there is a nice picture given in your this thing in your textbook, like to know the geographical location, date and hour of collection, number, case number, location on the body where it is removed, name of the collector who is studying the data. So after collection, they will undergo the laboratory findings, data analysis of PMI, interpretation of the blood patterns. So what are the equipment needed for this study ways? Like nets, vials, kill jars, forceps, collection containers, aluminum foils, vermiculate, the larva, plastic specimen containers, paper labels, graphite pencils, thermometers, rulers, screens to identify them, and these different types of these things are needed. And on the whole, we have to even preserve the stages to be continued. So the any flies which are to undergo the maggot stage to the next stage, we have to keep them very in a safe environment, in a very ventilated ones. So we have to undergo that such, provide the such conditions for the beetles and pupae to undergo the different stages also. So that shows the developmental delay or the succession of the particular insect. So as such, we have to study all these things in the forensic entomology. Any doubts? Are doing any other work, like practical work you are involved with?
No, ma'am, we are listening, ma'am.
Listening, ma'am.
Listening. Okay, how come the strength
But
is
first time we
like,
listen this forensic entomology.
yeah, because you have no exposure to such things before, because it is a special topic in your entomology. It is a very different topic, forensic.
Ma'am, can you please send the PDF in our group?
Yes, I'm sending you. Today also I've sent the 2 PDFs.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I forgot actually after the class to send. So today I've sent LAC and apiculture PDFs. I've sent it today when I'm doing this one. You can check. Okay, in our group, like entomology group is there, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
In that I have sent. Why all others who are there in that particular group are not turning up to even the online class? They can come, no? At least. How many are there in that class of yours now? As such, for practical, everyone will come, no? For practical classes, everybody will be attending.
Yes, ma'am.
As far
Some
as
are
I know.
attending, some are not attending, ma'am.
How come? It is a must for them to attend the practical.
But
How many
still they
are
are
there
not
in
coming, ma'am.
entomology? Entomology, how many are there? As far as you know, in your now, whoever are attending, how many are entomology students?
Still we don't know, ma'am.
Maybe 10 we know, ma'am. 10 members.
10 among 10, 10 didn't turn up. Only 4 of you have came.
4
now?
no, ma'am. Only 2.
Only 2. But
Yes.
here it is showing 4. My online class, 4 participants.
It's
Earlier
you
it used to be 8.
It's you and ma'am host, ma'am. Total 4.
No, 5. 5 of 21 it is showing. I will remove me.
You don't come, ma'am, on practicals?
I will come. Today I'll find out. Maybe I will have the regular college, no? So they want
At that time we know that what is our actual strength.
Now, first 4 days we are having toxicology. Next 4 days we are having immunology.
Okay.
After that we don't know, ma'am.
I'll find out my entomology when he is going. Okay. So, did you got the idea of how to write about the forensic entomology now? How to write? It is very
little bit, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
After going through this particular PDF, what I am sending, you go through that PDF 2 to 3 times whenever you have the time. Then you open your book. Study in your book also some things which you have understood. Tick them and prepare the full length answer, like how much you can write it in the exam. If it is given, like describe the forensic entomology.
It's a long question, ma'am.
Usually long question only, not short, I think. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So can I end the meeting, or you have the patients to leave?
Yeah, we are also leaving now.
Tired? You are leaving now, university?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll end the class.
Actually, today Sunday, ma'am, they just said today they are leaving early because of Sunday. Yesterday we have class up to 4:30, ma'am.
I think we will meet in next class, ma'am. We don't have any online classes now.
Okay. Yes. I'll take one. Yesterday I missed one actually.
We missed, ma'am.
Yes. To next week I'll take.
Okay,
Otherwise, if we meet for the entomology class also, I will give you the how to do the preparation for the theory. Okay. You bring the textbooks. You'll get something about the theory also. Theory and practical, both the books you bring if you are coming for the practical. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, I'm leaving. You can leave the.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello. 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 Hello.
హలో హలో చెప్పండి.
ఏం చెప్పారు సార్ మేడం?
ఎక్కడ ఉన్నావు? అటెండ్ కాలేదా క్లాస్ నువ్వు?
లేదు వచ్చేసాను, హాస్టల్కి వచ్చేసాను. టైం చేసిన తర్వాత హాస్టల్కి వచ్చాను. లంచ్ తినాలి కదా.
క్లాస్ ఓవర్.
అదే ఏం చెప్పారు?
ఫోరెన్సిక్ ఎంటమాలజీ.
పీపీటీ పంపిస్తారన్నారా?
పీడిఎఫ్ పంపిస్తా అన్నారు. మేము ఇక్కడ కాలేజీలోనే ఉన్నాం.
అవునా? అదే మేము వచ్చేస్తాను, ఆటో దొరికింది వచ్చేసినాను.
ఓకే ఓకే ఫైన్.
తినిండా అది క్యాంటీన్ క్లోజ్ ఉంది కదా.
అవునవును, క్యాంటీన్ క్లోజ్ ఉంది ఈరోజు.
లంచ్ కూడా తినలేదు.
నో ప్రాబ్లం మేడం, 1 క్లాస్ తీసుకున్నారు, హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ తీసుకున్నారు, 1 అవర్ తీసుకున్నారు. ఇంకో క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటా అంటే మేము వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాం మేడం అని చెప్పేసి అన్నాం అనమాట. సో నెక్స్ట్ మనం కాలేజ్ లోనే కలుద్దాం అని చెప్పేసి చెప్పారు. ఓకే ఫైన్.